Hello and welcome back to another ad-free presentation. If you like these type of ad-free videos, I consider a small contribution to the channel. Thank you. Okay, I am a dummy when it comes to LineageOS. Dummy as in I've never done this before. I've heard of it. I've used Android phones. I had an iPhone once. It wasn't for me, so I stuck with Android. Couple of things here. You need to follow the instructions exactly as stated. If you don't, you can brick the phone. Yes, I did. Arnold, will you leave me alone? Governor, get out of here. That never gets old. So yes, be careful. You can brick the phone. I managed to fix it, but it's definitely not fun. So make sure your device is listed on the website. Pretty self-explanatory. So what about the phone in question? Well, let's take a look at a video I shot with the phone itself. I got it to install. I got it working, so let me fire up VLC and let's play the video. Okay, so this is a Moto G7 Plus. I believe this had a Android 9, 10, so the phone is about 4 years old, at least. So a couple of things. Some of the Google apps don't work, such as the Assistant, the Google Play Store. Maybe there's a workaround, I don't know. But the phone actually works better than the original Android 9. Its performance is what I would say it should be for a phone that's this old. 4 gigs of RAM. You can look at the specs here, and you can look it up if you want to. Again, it's a Moto G7 Plus. I was quite happy with the final outcome of this phone. Like I said, a couple of apps don't work. So if I have to give this phone a rating, I'll give it a 8 out of 10, maybe a 9. Just a couple of things, couple of quirks. But overall, I think it works pretty well as we go through the apps here. Now the default browser worked, but I couldn't stream music off one of the websites. So I sideloaded, meaning I went to the apk.com, apk something website, and sideloaded the APKs. Picked up the specific software that I wanted, such as Firefox, Brave, 7-Zip, and a few other apps. Like I said, I don't really need a lot of apps, and I was able to get these applications loaded without any issues. Now, during the installation process of LineageOS, I believe there is a step where you can download, install preloaded G-apps before you finalize the installation. I didn't do that. I was fear of breaking something again, so I went with the standard bare bones installation of LineageOS, and then downloaded the specific Google apps to the phone later after I knew that the phone was working quite well. So this phone here came with a 3,000 milliamp battery. That is the only downside for this phone. That's not the fault of LineageOS, of course. But the phone, as a backup phone, I think it's quite well. Works quite good. I kept the phone because it has very good cameras. I believe it's 4K recording, both front and rear, if I am not mistaken. So as we look at all the apps here, this is the Audio FX app. It doesn't work with the internal speakers, maybe Bluetooth or headset, I don't know. The phone itself does have a headphone jack. So going through the apps here, as you can see, there's very little sputtering. Performance appears to be quite smooth. Very surprised that this thing worked as well as it did, considering I made a mistake the first time. But then again, if you're patient and willing to take the time to learn things, it's not that hard if you have the patience. Some Italians I know don't have patience, but I was able to figure this out. The built-in recording app did not work. So I downloaded, I think it's called Smart Record or Smart Recorder, and this one works fine. So all things considered, should you try something like this? Yeah, if you have an old phone laying around that is outdated and you don't want to get rid of it or recycle it or whatever you do with old phones, I think you should give LineageOS a try. It might work out for you. Again, this is primarily just a backup phone. My primary phone is a Moto Edge with the latest Android 14. I don't need to hack or do anything with that one there. And I also have a backup phone called it's a company called NUU. I'll have all the links below in the show notes if you're interested. That phone was a steal for like $100. Brand new phone with Android 14 and free Bluetooth headphones. And yeah, we saw that the one camera app didn't work too good in low light, but the other one is better. So, and I bought my son a Samsung Galaxy A25. That one was about $200 on Amazon. That also was a very good deal. So I'm primarily a Motorola man. My son likes Samsung, and like I said, I've tried something called the NUU New 10 phone, and I believe it was shipped out of California. All right, so we're almost done with this here. As you can see, performance as well. It's smooth. It runs the way it should, I suppose, for an outdated phone. If I had to use this every day, the only downfall is the low capacity battery. 3,000 milliamps is not a lot. Besides that, if I had to use this phone every day, sure, that would not be a problem. So what do you guys think about all this? Was it worth it? Have you tried this before? Again, if you have a phone laying around and wanted to try this, again, read the instructions exactly. If you don't, yeah, something can happen to your phone. So I give this LineageOS a thumbs up. And if you guys know a workaround for the Google Play Store and Google Assistant, please let me know. I'll give it a shot, because so far those are the only two things that do not seem to work with at least this phone. As far as the updates, I'm assuming if I go to System Updates and click Refresh, the OS will update automatically. I don't know. Like I said, I've never done this before, but in terms of the installation process and the performance, I am quite satisfied with this phone. And yeah, the AccuWeather weather app, it launches, but it doesn't work. Maybe there's a different weather app I can try. I'm not sure. But overall, I'm happy with LineageOS. So that's all I have for this one. If you have any questions, comments, or any tips, please let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, to all the developers at LineageOS, thank you for reviving my Moto G7 Plus. Arrivederci.